Hi, I'm Ben with Beretta, and I'm here to talk to you briefly about the PX4 pistol. The PX4 is Beretta's latest innovation. We've taken 100 years of building pistols for military and law enforcement groups worldwide and put all the technology and experience into the PX4. We've got a slide that's machined out of bar stock, a barrel that's cold hammer forged and chrome lined, and a transmission that operates just like the M9 pistol. So let's just walk through the disassembly real quick and some of the basic features on the frame. The safety decocker mechanism, as we said, is exactly the same as the M9, and when it's pressed down, safely drops the hammer, decocks the system, and puts it on safe. The way this happens is there's a striker mechanism that rotates out of the way that's separate from the firing pin, so when the hammer falls, there's no way that the gun can discharge. To disassemble the PX4, first make sure that the weapon is empty, safe, and clear. Then there's a locking bar that goes through both sides of the frame, and you can grab this with your index finger and your thumb and pull down on both sides at the same time. Place your thumb on either side of the hammer on the slide and press forward. The slide comes right off. The slide group contains your locking block, your recoil spring, your barrel, and your slide. Now the PX4 uses a rotary locking system that's different from the standard Browning camming style system, and it gives you 180 degrees of contact with these two lugs when it's locked into position. Think of it kind of like a bolt action rifle. It's a very solid system and it gives incredible accuracy. More than anything, what it does is it gives radial dissipation of the recoil energy to decrease felt recoil and gives you faster follow-up shots. Now, removing the backstrap from the PX4 pistol, there's a small wire strut that goes into the frame. And if you put a flathead screwdriver in there and pry it up, you can pull it up, grab it with your finger, and just pull it completely out of the frame. And when the pistols are new, sometimes you want to be gentle. But sometimes they require a little coaxing to kind of pop these off because this isn't something that we want to come off accidentally. The backstrap pops off, and we have an option of a small, medium, and a large backstrap. In our experience, 80% of people prefer the medium backstrap. The PX4 was designed to operate without a backstrap. So even if you don't have one, the gun will still function. Replacing the backstrap, make sure that the smooth part is down. Place it back into position, grip the frame as you would if you're shooting, and just squeeze, and it'll pop right back on. Grab your wire strut, place it back on, and just press it down in. Your backstrap's now locked in place. Now all the magazine catches on the PX4 pistols can be swapped to either the left or the right side for right or left-handed use. All you need is something like a paper clip. We have a special little tool for it. And there's a hole on the magazine button. When you push that in, just push through, and the magazine catch lock will pop right out. Now the magazine button is still locked in by the offside. Capture that with your hand or with a work mat. Grab a small tool and just press through, and it'll pop right out. Now you'll see that it has 4 fingers and a small spring. This is the magazine catch button side. So whichever side you want to have that on, this is the piece that you need to focus on. The offside will fall right out. If it doesn't, just give the frame a quick tap. To reassemble, take the magazine button and put it on the side of the frame that you'd like to have it. Take the offside and set that in, and just press them together. Now those two will lock together. Sometimes you have to kind of fiddle them in there, but they'll lock in. And then to lock it in, you're going to get your magazine catch lock, push on the button, the magazine release button, and then put the catch lock in and push it in with your finger, and it will lock everything in. I like to take a small screwdriver or punch and just give it a little push to make sure that it's fully locked in. And that's all you have to do is swap your magazine catch button to either side. Now to reassemble the slide, all we're going to do is take the barrel with the locking cut up. That's your cam cut. You want to make sure that that's pointed up. So you can see the lugs and the locking cut. Make sure that's pointed up. And we're just going to set that into the slide, and that falls right in. And go ahead and rotate that over to the right-hand side to make sure that the locking cut is fully up. Grab your locking block and your recoil spring. Take the small side of the recoil spring and place that into the large hole of the locking block. Take the recoil spring forward button, place that into the slide, and push the locking block forward and down slightly. It'll lock into place. Now the easiest way to put these back together is if we leave the slide on your mat or your table, take your frame, line up your rails, and make sure that your block is down. Push the slide forward. Everything's now on. Then just rack your slide and locks it back together. So that's the basic disassembly and magazine catch and backstrap for the PX4. We talked about how the PX4 slide is made out of machined bar stock. Why don't we go out to the factory and we'll take a look at that and see how that's done.
Okay, so now we're out in the factory and we're going to walk you through the steps of building a PX4 slide. As we mentioned before, all the PX4 slides start as a piece of bar stock. Now the metal is a special blend that was designed by the Beretta Material Sciences Group and was specially designed for the applications of the PX4 on the battlefield and in the street. The first step as we taste that piece of bar stock is we start machining away everything that's not a slide. We open up what's going to be the ejection port, we machine out where the barrel is going to operate, the slideways, and all of the other interface points on the slide. As we move along in the process, it starts to look more like a PX4 slide. You can now see the sight cuts, the overall profile, where the safety's engaged, and it starts to, again, really start looking like a pistol slide. In our next step, we put in the cocking serrations, we laser engrave the slide so it has all the Beretta markings. We're just about ready to go to heat treat and finish painting. Finally, the finished slide after it's been painted with all the parts installed, including our safeties, the extractor, and your sights. Now it's ready to go and become a PX4. So here we are in the factory, and this is one of the robots we use to make sure that the gun is fully broken in and completely mated and operational by the time you get it. At Beretta, we think robots are cool, and we use them for everything we can. Now obviously, we use people to actually build the guns and test them, but we use robots to make sure that they're completely broken in.
Of course, every pistol has to be test fired at Beretta to make sure that it's fully functional and there are not any problems with the pistol. It's the only way to ensure that every pistol is firing on target and is functioning the way it's supposed to. I'm going to keep shooting a little bit. You go away now. Go on. Alright, so now you know how a PX4 is disassembled, all the parts come in and out. You've seen them test fired. You've seen the little robots that put them all together and made them. You've seen the slides and the various stages that they go through. What else could you possibly want to know? It's time to go buy a PX4.